All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this smooth jazz. We're going to go into game number 1 between Liquid Red and FXO Lucky. Let's go check it out right now.
So we have right now a ZVZ as the first match today. This is going to be quite interesting as Red is up against one of the best Zerg players in the FXO lineup. At the bottom right we have in the blue colors our Zerg player for Team Liquid. Is none other than Red, who we've seen in countless team wars in the NASTL so far. And his opponent starting on bel'shir Beach at the top left is FXO's Lucky. Very, very accomplished Zerg player. Together with Lenog, he's the Zerg backbone of FXO, and this is going to be a really, really tough battle between two expert ZVZ players.
Yeah, ZVZ on bel'shir Beach is kind of interesting. It's kind of obvious as well that both these players are going to field Zergs on this map in particular because bel'shir Beach has been known to be slightly Zerg favored with those dual paths that you can go across, covered by those Zelnaga towers. You can formulate very nice counterattacks against the other races, which are Protoss and Terran. So it's no huge shock that we actually see two Zergs go on this map. Now, ZVZ on this map is kind of weird. I think a lot of play is based around Zergling Baneling, and well, that's how it is normally in ZVZs normally, but you stay on that a lot longer because of this open natural.
Yeah, that's so true. You don't only have this huge big ramp that connects to your natural expansion, but you also have a very, very wide pathway that leads from your natural into your main base. So using banelings on this map is kind of a given, and we have both players now already getting gas, standard build with 14-14, and I expect that probably both of them will leave drones in the extractor in order to harvest gas beyond the point of having the 100 gas that you need for your metabolic boost.
I agree. Now, the big question is how many do they actually leave on gas? I like to have 1 and then slowly transition into 2. Some people like to have a little bit more. The way I do it with 1 and 2, you actually go defensive banelings. So we can see Red actually not opting to get any more gas. Let's go ahead and look at Lucky. And no, okay, Lucky is getting more gas, but he's leaving 2 on. So this gives you the option to do like slight aggression or play very defensive. It's like right in that middle, and look at that, Lucky is actually going to prepare for a Roach War, and wow, this is not something that we're used to seeing.
No, he's going straight for the roaches now, which is really, really interesting. As you already mentioned, the standard build would be to go for banelings, but he is opting for the roaches. And Red, on the other hand, he is now mining with 3 harvesters again from the extractor, so 3 drones are currently getting gas, and he pulled out all of them once again. I don't think that he had a scouting drone in his opponent's main base, so he does not know exactly what's happening, but the Zerglings are already on their way, both with a metabolic boost, and here comes the expansion for Red, while Lucky is still on 1 base trying to get aggressive, and Red finally throws down the baneling nest.
Yeah, I don't like this too much by Red. He's actually following these Zerglings all the way back to his own main. I think he should have branched off a couple of Zerglings and just go scout out for himself, because those roaches, that gives you a very clear indication that banelings will not work in this early game stage, and your opponent has a little bit of a timing. He could be potentially massing up in a ton of roaches. What you want to check is that extractor and see how many roaches your opponent's actually capable of, and then from there you can build the necessary, whether it be Zerglings, whether it be spine crawlers. You can kind of curtail your build to what your opponent is actually capable of.
If you play roaches against a Zergling Baneling, there's one thing that you really need to do. You need to have this number of roaches that allows you to actually face Zerglings, because when you don't have the +1 attack upgrade, you still need 3 hits in order to kill a Zergling, and if there are enough Zerglings for your opponent, he can just surround your army and kill you, but you need this ball of roaches where actually a lot of roaches can focus the Zerglings. The Zerglings are limited because they are melee ranged, and so far Lucky doesn't have that amount. He needs more roaches if he wants to get aggressive, but so far he seems to be happy just sitting tight on his natural expansion, as is Red, by the way. We have both of them in roughly the same amount of harvesters, 21 or 20, and it's going to be pretty interesting who's going to be the aggressor in this game. And Lucky, now building the baneling nest on his own, is probably the one who's going to move out first.
Yeah, normally when you build that baneling nest, you are doing some sort of combination with roach zerglings and baneling, so I'm probably going to be expecting additional drones right here for a short period of time. He is slightly oversaturated in his main. He needs to get, well, nope, there he goes. He actually pulls them off, so he's perfect. But I would expect just a couple of roaches here and there. You can see him stocking up in a lot of overlords. Oh, he's actually supply capped, excuse me. But a couple roaches from here and then pushing forward, because I'm not sure why you want the baneling nest. That seems kind of weird to get the baneling nest and not pressure. Look at that. He's actually droning up.
Red is hiding Zerglings. He built a lot of Zerglings and is hiding them. Lucky tried to sneak a Zergling into the main base of his opponent, but he was not able to spot the Zerglings at the bottom. So that might give Red exactly the moment of the surprise that he needs. He has 40 Zerglings in total already, and Lucky, up to this point, didn't build a single baneling. So this is going to be really interesting. If Red is able to hide his units and then go for a surprise attack, Lucky might be in a lot of trouble.
And Red is actually able to get a couple of Zerglings in here, and he sees the drone count is pretty high. That should be a trigger to actually go out and push, and there it is. The second round of Zerglings are out. You can see a ton of Zerglings in queue right here. And Red, he's going for the aggression. The banelings have started here, but will they finish in time? And are they even enough at this point, Khaldor?
I don't think so. I think that's curtains for Lucky. That's going to be really, really hard to defend against. The Zerglings are already attacking.
Oh, God!
And he only loses a few of them. There are way too many Zerglings left. 46. And now Red is just streaming in. Lucky is in so much trouble. He tries to save his drones, but oh my God. Most of them already died. 16 of them, and now he's in the main base. I think that's it, Gretorp.
Yeah, this is going to be it. All the drones getting cleaned up here. Lucky is going to be the first one out, so Red draws first blood. There it is. WW gets called. And Lucky will fall. So we have Red taking the first game with a little bit of queso there. And on top of that, I mean, Lucky, there was a lot of things where I would say that that build was really inefficient with going Zergling or going the Roach Warren. You're not able to obviously get enough, what is it called? Minerals and gas to actually deal with an all-in like that. And I think just those little components of him just nerfing himself, getting the baneling nest when he's not being aggressive with it, getting the roach warren when he's not really going to get roaches, that's a very heavy investment. And let me tell you, roaches per larva, I should say larva per supply is pretty high. No, other way around. Supply per larva, obviously it's 2 rather than 1. So you can't really spend your larva as efficiently until you get a lot more overlords. The overlords, you're eating into the overlords a lot faster. So it's kind of tough at that position. You don't need so many queens at that point as well if you do want to mass up in roaches. So it is kind of a weird build to be going, especially on a map like bel'shir Beach when you go so few roaches.
The thing that I really think break Lucky's backbone is that he didn't have the scouting information. He tried to sneak Zerglings into his opponent's main base, and he could not see the drone count in the main base. He didn't see the Zerglings. He didn't see anything that would give him an indication of what exactly was happening. And from that point on, he chose to take a risk. He built the drones that you mentioned, and Red, on the other hand, he was able to sneak Zerglings not only into the natural, but also into the main base of his opponent. He saw the drone count, and he immediately realized there are way too many drones. He can't have a huge army, so I can't just attack right now, use this window of opportunity, and Lucky was just in no position to defend against it. So he made a judgment call when he was not able to get scouting information. It was the wrong one, and Red, he exploited it very well and took the game.
You know, after thinking about this, because I have gotten obviously a little bit of time to actually think, I think it was fake pressure in the beginning. He put out the Roach Warren to actually fake the aggression, so his opponent would go maybe mass spine crawlers or whatever. He would kind of overcompensate in the amount of units he actually got. And then he would take a drone lead from there, with his opponent thinking that, hey, I'm going to be really aggressive on you, or excuse me, my opponent's going to be really aggressive on me. I should really play defensive. But I think what was so clutch, you said it yourself, the 2 Zerglings that were able to get in and see the drone count, see what was going on, and say, hey, I know what my opponent was doing. He was trying to fake aggression and then went for a huge abusive build where he gets so many drones. And thankfully for Red, he was able to punch that very easily. And so it came down to a very big build order loss right there. Very well played by Rhett, but you know, everything went his way that time around. So that being said, we are 1 up for Team Liquid. over FXO. We're going to be going to a short break, and when we come back, game number 2 between these two teams gonna go down. Catch you there.